Ladies and gentlemen, that is Candace Owens, race commentator Candace Owens. Race commentator Candace Owens, who makes commentary oftentimes to check Black folks, very, very critical of Black society. Everything is what the Black society is doing wrong and how the Black society don't measure up. Most of her commentary is throwing Black folks under the bus. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, Grindstone. He runs a clothing line out in DC. And we oftentimes talk about politics. So when Joe Biden dropped out of the race today and endorsed Kamala Harris, his vice president, there was a whole lot of chatter in the background. My man Grindstone told me, in fact, he first sent me a text message. And then he told me, he repeated himself in our phone conversation, saying that this is a test to see if women will stick together and elect a woman as president. And I told him, well, don't forget that half of all white women voted for Donald Trump the last time around. Which underscores the fact that a lot of women care more about privilege. They care more about what they can get for themselves than they care about women overall. They care more about themselves and that privilege, that their little privilege that they have, than they care about victims of sexual abuse. Because at that time, Donald Trump had been accused of multiple rapes. Yeah, candidate for president. Back in 2016, he was accused of multiple rapes. I mean, yeah. Funny how that is. I got to get off track just for a moment. I'm not really off track, but I'm kind of off track. These were white women, all white women accusing him of sexual assault. And what's interesting about that is oftentimes we hear the phrase white woman tears. That's the only time that, well, let me back up. We hear white woman tears, meaning that when a white woman cries, people tend to want to save her, right? There's a overall consensus in America where people tend to value a white woman's pain over anybody else's pain. But not in regards to accusing powerful men of violating their bodies. Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Justice, Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice, Donald Trump, president, now former president, running for re-election. So my man Daryl, I call him Daryl, and Grindstone is the same person. But my man Daryl Grindstone got his answer quicker than I think that he was anticipating, because Candace Owens hopped on social media and did what Candace Owens does. She did the bidding of white America. Not all. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That segment. That segment. Not all. That segment. She did the bidding of massa. She hopped on social media and said that Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. The only reason why she's in the position she's in is because she slept her way to the top. That is the only reason why she became vice president. That is the only reason why she's in a position to become president of these ununited states. Well, who did she sleep with? This guy right here. Kamala Harris had a love affair with this guy. This is Willie Brown. Willie Brown was the former mayor of San Francisco. Willie Brown is credited with giving Kamala Harris her political boost early on in her career. They dated when Kamala was 30 and he was 61. A lot of people saying, well, you know, it was all about the come up. She was just using him to get on top. First of all, I feel offended that y'all would say something like that about this man. Say something about Willie Brown, like say something about that man. To accuse her of sleeping with him is one thing. But for him to be a part of that scandal, I don't appreciate it, because ain't no way a dude named Willie did something like that. We got integrity. I think it was love. See, don't matter how old Willie is, Willie gonna always be a catch. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. Why the man couldn't just get her on his own, you know what I'm talking about, with his own conversation, with his conversation pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, his name is Willie. All Willie's got a strong mouthpiece. $1 million mouthpiece, as Gillian Wallow would say. I resent that. But let's get back. So, Candace Owens went live to say that Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. Obviously, that didn't go too well on social media, because right now they are tearing her a new a-hole, lighting her up in the comments, killing her. Not Kamala, but Candace. If Kamala slept her way to the top, so did you. Yeah. First of all, you said that Kamala slept her way to the top because she was dating a 60-year-old man who had political influence, political power. And then you claimed that he was a married man while she slept with him. She was dating a married man. But what you failed to mention is that, it is true that he was a married man, but what you failed to purposely mention is that he was technically a married man, but he had been estranged from his wife for over 10 years while dating Kamala. But we know why you left that out. She also said, y'all, that the Daily Mail published a headline saying that Kamala was thotting through life. That's what she said. Basically saying she was thotting through life. She said that they looked at the Republican Party and it's all white, and Joe Biden is an old white man. So they literally didn't have anybody else to pick from but Kamala Harris. So they went with her, and they went with the black African American image, so to speak, as opposed to her Indian side. It felt like that would bring her more votes. That would bring her more popularity. I can't say that she was wrong in that assessment. But to claim that she slept her way to the top, which has been out there, okay, like people have said that already. But here's the deal. People say that about most women. Almost every woman gets accused of sleeping her way to the top, right? I would think that that's a narrative that even Candace would not try to exploit, because it puts attention on her. Like, okay, Candace, how did you get to where you are? Let Candace tell it, it's because of her GPA. It's because, she's so brilliant. She's smart and she worked hard. There are a lot of women who have worked hard, but also slept their way to the top. There are a lot of women who've worked hard who have slept their way to the bottom. Sleeping with someone don't necessarily mean that you're going to get the prize, that you're going to be the prize. You know how many women who have slept with Hollywood producers who we never heard of? The crazy thing is this. I find myself in a conundrum because on one hand, I do not want to come off like I'm defending Kamala Harris. But as I said a few hours ago in my previous video, Kamala Harris is a symbol of Black womanhood, Black females, period. Even with her mixed heritage, people still look at her as a Black woman. From now until the time that election happens, and if she ends up winning, they're going to eviscerate her. Every single day, she will be under attack. And it will not be because they don't think she's qualified. It is because they don't like the idea of a Black woman running the country. Some people don't like the idea of a woman running the country, period. But I'll say this. We live in some, and again, this is not even an endorsement, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here, and I'm giving you the whole thing. I'm being objective here. So far, every war that America has ever entered has been led by a man, including the Civil War, where Americans fought Americans and killed Americans by the thousands, the tens of hundreds of thousands. Think about that. Hundreds of thousands of bodies just littered across America. And men have started those wars. Men have started all of those wars. Every president so far in this country, every commander in chief has been a man. If you are afraid to go outside in this country, it is because of a man. Your leadership, your commander in chief, because leadership starts at the top. Leadership starts at the top. And a man has been commander in chief. A man has been commander in chief of all of these police departments. When you start talking about the educational system, We start talking about the medical industry, the clergy, the economy. Go down there on Wall Street and see who's running it. You don't like the job you have? You don't like the fact that they're taking the jobs overseas? Who you think taking those jobs overseas? Personally, whether it's a female of any ethnicity, I don't think they can do any worse than a damn man could. And again, that ain't no endorsement. That's just me being objective and looking at the whole picture. For all of those that say, well, you know, a woman gonna make me, man, how many times these dudes have made bad decisions for us? It's like the dudes can have, it's like a dude being a chief of police and a woman being a chief of police. If a dude is a chief of police, people are still getting killed. People are still afraid to be in their own house. People are inside of their own homes and still don't feel safe. You're inside your car, you're scared to death. Going to the mall, you can go to the most expensive mall and you're watching your back, you got your head on a swivel. And the power dynamic is typically a man at the top of the pyramid. So is it really a gender issue? And if it is, perhaps it's something wrong with that gender that's been in control. I'm just saying, fam, because, you know, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. If we could automatically vote for a man and our lives would just be better, I'd say, hell yeah. Power to the men, keep them damn women out. Keep them all the way out. Keep them out. Don't let them nowhere near. They can't make, they're not good with it. But these are dudes getting caught up in their feelings. These are dudes sending innocent people off the wall. These are dudes sending kids who ain't even started living their life off the wall and getting their heads knocked off, getting their heads chopped off. That's what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan. These are dudes sending people out here on these missions to get murdered. But they get a pass just because they got a winner? Nah, I'm not with that. Nah. But this is what they're gonna do. So when you hear me speaking on this ain't necessarily defending Kamala Harris. I'm really defending women, specifically Black women, because Black women have ops all over the place. They got people that wake up every day just mad at Black women. When Black women damn near saved this country in every situation, every time the country ever been in a jam, Black women been right there at the forefront, helping get things straight. Not just Black women, but Black men too. We saved this damn country so many times, man, you can't even count. But they gonna come for her. They finna come. If you think they came for Michelle Obama, you ain't seen nothing yet. Couldn't be me, because I use my power to punish him. If I had some power like that, presidential power, oh yeah, I'll use my power. Oh, you ain't gonna be online talking slick about me. You gonna hear, open the door. I had them goons rush up in there and I step up out of a presidential limousine, walk on in there. Now what was that shit you were saying? Be scared they be boo-booing in their pants. I straight up run up on you. I come up, I run up on you in your house as the president of the United States. Yeah, I'll shut that down. I'll shut all that internet slick talk down. Yeah, I'll come right up in your house and drag you up out of there. You be like, man, people be looking, your neighbors be looking like, damn, they look like the president. Is that President Willie D? And they look like President Willie D. Bring your ass here. What you say? Say it again. Bam, 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 bam. It'll look like cartoons. Bam, you slam them. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, I use all my presidential power. Now, I ain't gonna do that every time, but certain people, just certain people. The rest of them, y'all, yeah, you can just scare, just saying, just send them, sitting the hitters over. They're gonna nut up. But man, some of them I'll pay a special visit to. Yeah, say it again. Now what was that shit you was talking on the internet? Yeah, say what? Now say it again. Say it now. Candace Owens said that Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. So there you got your answer already. They're not going to stick together. They're already, day one, you already got one of the most prominent Black women in the country already attacking the Black woman who was at the top of the ticket, already being attacked by her own, already. Knew it was coming. And here's the thing. I think also Candace Owens probably think that she should be the most paid and recognized Black woman in the country, period. And I think there might be some jealousy there. Candace Owens said Kamala slept her way to the top. One could say that Candace Owens slept her way to the top. You know, Candace said that she believed that you should, let me back up. She said that that people tend to marry their IQ. And she said that she fell in love with her husband just because she thinks that he's one of the most brilliant people ever. So she married her husband because of his IQ. I mean, isn't that kind of like sleeping your way to the top? You know what I'm saying? You know, like maybe it wasn't money right there, but because he has this great IQ, you know, it helped elevate her. It I guess brought out some creative juices or something, and you know, no pun intended, juices. But that is a dangerous narrative to try to exploit, though, right? If you're a female, especially a Black female, to say something like that, to take off with that type of narrative, because pretty much what that would suggest is that any Black woman who's ever made it, including Oprah, can be accused of sleeping her way to the top. Because no matter what you're doing in this country, you're going to have to deal with a man at some point. At some point, you're going to have to deal with a man putting his signature on something, opening a door here or there somewhere. So pretty much any Black woman or any woman in this country could be accused of sleeping her way to the top, even if she owns her own business. Even if you own a food truck, you got to park that food truck somewhere. So perhaps you park that food truck in front of somebody's office who is a male, or his nightclub, or in front of his grocery store? Did you sleep your way to the top, or did you just pay for the space that you took up? Yeah, pretty much anybody can be accused, or any woman can be accused of, hell, any man can be accused of that. Very dangerous narrative to try to paint. Now, like I say, this has been out there already. People have already said that she slept her way to the top way back then. This has been out there for some time. But on the day that she emerged as the front runner to be at the top of the ticket, the Democratic ticket, to have a Black woman to come out there and rehash that accusation says a lot about the Black woman. And look, fam, like who you want to like. Vote for who you want to vote for. I've been very critical of Kamala Harris myself in the past, but I wouldn't put that out there like that because I know the implications that it has. Certain things I just wouldn't say. So I'm gonna say, but what I will say is this, fam, and I'm gonna say this till the end of time. Anybody but Trump. Where you at, Bobby Kennedy Jr.? Anybody but Trump. Where you at, Kamala Harris? Anybody but Trump. Where you at, Ticket TV? Telling you, man, anybody but Trump. I'll vote for Ned the Wino over Donald Trump. Y'all can't bully me into liking him. Yeah, you can't bully me into voting for him. You can't bully me into standing down and not saying anything about him. Nah, I don't like him. And I'm never gonna like him. Never, never, never. Somebody said race and gender don't matter. I wish I could find that post. I just saw it. Oh, there it is. Race and gender don't matter. It's who's qualified for the job. That's Ruthie, right? Ruthie, you're right. It should be like that, right? But it ain't. Race and gender has really never mattered until you had a Black president and a vice president that was Black, a female vice president and a male president. Yeah, race and gender never mattered unless you had, until a Black man looked like he had a chance of winning the presidency, actually winning. But I guess, let me back up. Race and gender has always mattered. That's why you've always had a white male president, because it mattered to them that a white male president was the commander in chief. So yes, race in this country, first and foremost, race matters. Always. It's going to always matter. Always. Even as I think about the video that I did earlier today about Teddy Riley being denied entry into a bowling alley with his water. He brought his own water and he was denied entry. Well, he wasn't denied entry. They just told him, hey, you cannot bring this water in here. And he took offense to that and left. He put them on blast first, and he was saying that they were racist. That could be true, that they were racist, right? That could be true. This is what I'm saying about race always mattering. That could have been true but also one of the things that could be true is that had he not been Black, first of all, they have a policy like most establishments that carry food, that offer food, that you cannot bring outside food into their establishment. So they have a leg to stand on if they just go strictly by their policy. But you and I know that they have made exceptions, and we didn't have to be there to know that there have been exceptions depending on who you are. Maybe they made an exception for, a white person or somebody else, or it could have been a situation where maybe they made an exception for an employee or a friend of an employee. Maybe they made an exception. Or maybe they made an exception for maybe somebody they liked, right? But I can guarantee you that race is always a factor in this country. Always. Race always matters. It's the difference in the police pulling up on the scene when you call the police and say your house has been burglarized. You think you hear some noises outside of your house. It's the difference between the police making sure that they totally identify the owner of the house, making sure that they proceed with caution and don't shoot the owner, versus walking up to the house and pointing the gun through the window and killing the owner. It's the difference between a police officer walking inside of your house, thinking that it's their house, and they see you on the couch eating ice cream. I'm talking about the Botham Jean situation. You think she would have shot Botham if she accidentally went into the wrong house and there was a white boy sitting on the couch eating ice cream? Race always matters in this country. I wish it didn't. Damn, I wish it didn't. Woo, man, I wish it didn't. But it is what it is. And I still think that we haven't seen everything we're going to see. This is going to be a wild, wild west race. Ain't no telling how this thing gonna end. Woo-wee, man. God bless us, man. God bless us all. Except the uncivilized mutts. That's my time, fam. I appreciate y'all joining the live. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more talk.